A main area of interest for the fund is internet disruption. Can you tell us more about this area of interest?
Yeah, so internet disruption is really probably one of the first AOIs we ever put together. It is all the way back in 2005. Google came to market. All of us were trying to understand how Google would work and would it be a good investment. And at the time, there was like 11 search engines in the world. And these 11 search engines were all competing with Google, and Google was making no money. And would this be a good investment? And what we saw through that period, and I think everyone remembers now, is you went from sort of 11 search engines all the way down to one. And that happened because of this thing we now call network effects, and everybody knows what network effects are. And put simply is the reason why you ended up on Google is because they had the best algorithm and there was no ads. Once everything was on there, the more you looked at Google, the more you had to be on there. And so basically more stuff got on there, which equaled more users, where more users equaled more stuff equaled more users equaled more stuff. And on round and round it goes until Google's the number one search engine in the world. And it's 99% bigger than its number two. It has a market cap of $2 trillion. And Yahoo, its biggest competitor at the time, has recently been sold for $4 billion. That doesn't happen in any other industry. It won't happen with a bank, won't happen with a supermarket. It will only happen with the digital industry. And so Google, that network effect and that winner takes most that we now know becomes the template for how we go forward. And so when we look at this industry today, we now have these two big dominant players. So Facebook eventually did the same thing. So Google became $2 trillion. Facebook's now $1 trillion. And then on the similar analysis I showed you before, you have market cap by revenue growth at the bottom. And you have a whole bunch of companies that are potentially trying to do the same thing. They're all growing a bit faster than Google and Facebook. They're all trying to disrupt large TAMs. They're all trying to be winner takes most, whether that's Uber or whether that's Airbnb or whether that's Twitter or whether that's Spotify or whether it's Netflix. They're all effectively trying to do the same thing. It's the same trick. And so our job here is really, having had that wonderful experience with Google, which is our number one stock of all time, by the way, and Facebook's a top 10 stock of all time. All we're doing here is trying to say, well, who's the guy who could do this next? Who's the one who's potentially got the opportunity to do this next? And that's what the team at Munro spend a lot of time working on.